Well, Senator Shannon, looks like it's you and me again.
Oh dear. Yeah, indeed it is.
We'll see. I just got back from a walk, so I'm just going to take off my coat and let's see if anyone else is going to
Yeah,
join
sure.
here. And if not, we can just chat. Be right back. Just
Yeah.
excellent. All right. I'm just coming on as I was just telling Senator Shannon. I just got back from a walk. It is 6 o'clock in the evening here in Seattle, and I needed to get my walk in before my evening calls. So welcome, Kyun Young. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing your name properly. You're on mute.
Hello?
There we go.
Yes, as a 그냥 is the correct pronunciations.
But go ahead and pronounce it as you do, just so we can hear how you would say it.
근형,
Young. Okay,
근형. Yes, is correct pronunciations. You, you
excellent.
pronounce very well.
Well, I wish I had more practice. Unfortunately, I'm not really proficient in any other language except for a little bit of French.
Mm.
So was never my strong suit. Anyway, welcome. We Sankarshan is a regular on. He's one of the few of us, even though he's in India, that regularly attends both of our calls, the one from North America, Europe, and this one. But whereas we had I think 25 people on the call that's this morning my time, the North America, I mean the Americas Europe call. This one is usually quite a bit smaller, and it being the first one after the holidays, it might just be the three of us, which is fine. I actually have a call that's come up at the half hour point, so if it's okay, we can just have call and review what we talked about this morning. I've actually put links to the two documents that we discussed on the call this morning, but love to know, Ginyang, what you're interested in and how we can help help you understand and be part of this new working group. What I'm curious, how did you find out about us?
Yeah, is this actually this I'm interested in the how to make a trust in the internet ecosystem. Therefore, I'm interested in the activity of the trust of IP. It's area, and also I'm the I will try to learn uh, how to make the decentralized trust in the in internet. That therefore, I'm looking for the activities of the WCC and the DIF and the OIDF and the TYP. And so the however the as you know that there are the lots of meetings based on the American time schedules. Therefore, I I couldn't participate the biddings based on the American Times. Their ends and as far as I know, this working group uh, aims to make the decentralized truth to the graph. That I don't know is exactly what it is. Therefore, I participate in the work group meeting.
That's perfect. That's a great great explanation. And we very intentionally in the Decentralized Trust Graph Working Group, which just started last September, we said, well, what we're building is for, internet-wide trust. It's global. I mean, all of trust over IP, the models we're building are for the internet as a whole. And so we try to have calls for both the Americas and Europe timeframe and the APAC timeframes. And it just depends on who's interested. We're hoping that as we start to get some, our work out there, we'll have more folks coming to the APAC call. But at least Sankarshan and I are regulars on this. I'm one of the co-chairs of this. There are three of us that are co-chairs of this working group. Unfortunately, the other two are in Europe. One's Nikki Hickman is based in the UK, and Martina Kopondinos is based in Zurich in Switzerland. But we are interested, by the way, in having another co-chair, if someone's interested, in in the APAC region, so that we have others that can help chair these calls. So I'm just letting you know. But happy to explain again in the time we have today what we're doing here. In fact, what I'll do is since these since this is an official meeting, I will share my screen. Let's see, right? I got the right page here. And I'll put this in the chat, the link to this. So this is what we call the meeting page. And I will put a link in the chat so you can view it directly. And for the purposes of the recording, I'll just say welcome to the APAC version of the first meeting of the Decentralized Trust Graph Working Group here on January 7th of the new 2026 year. And what we always do is share the antitrust policy notice at the start of the meeting here, just to make sure that we all, know that that's what's applying. Now, I will hit the edit button here and just simply, whoops, that always pops me around in various places on the page. I'll just note here that we have the three of us at Sankarshan. And do you know, Din Young, if you have a login on this wiki yet, our Confluence wiki? I can check here just by G. Not yet. Okay, that's fine.
It's
and
the young game.
yeah,
Yes.
that's fine.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So so this is what we call the meeting page for each meeting. And as you can see, we had a big group this morning. But what we try and make sure we do on the APAC meeting is review what we did discuss before and any new issues that come up. There was one announcement this morning, and I'll copy this link in here, of a new event that is just came together over the holidays. It's going to be on February 23rd. I'll show the page here. That's the link I just put in there. It's called the Summit on Human Agency. And this is going to be the day before the Linux Foundation Member Summit that takes place once a year in Napa. It's been, last year was the same place in Napa, California. And so we've added this special event called the Summit on Human Agency, which will feature the work we're doing here in the Decentralized Trust Graph Working. You can see the description there. And we will be showing actual demonstrations of decentralized trust graph credentials, how you form a connection and can communicate privately over that. So anyway, that was the one announcement we made this morning. And then I think I get most of the rest of the agenda. So what we have is we have the homepage for this group. This is, I don't have that right there. I'm gonna put it up here. Homepage, it describes our mission and our scope is right here. I'll put the link in the chat. So the whole idea of a decentralized trust graph is how we can build a cryptographically verifiable, essentially, web of relationships, of trust relationships that you can then produce proofs against, essentially the same kinds of proofs you would prove of against other types of verifiable credentials. We're intending to use the W3C standard for verifiable credentials. But the proofs we want to be able to prove here are for one of our main goals is proof of personhood. We're intending, because we want those proofs to be privacy preserving, we're intending on using zero knowledge proofs. So that's part of what is in our scope. So as I said, we started up in September of last year. So if I go back to our agenda, what we've been working on is we've established 2 task forces. You may be familiar that with working groups at Trust over IP, inside a working group, we divide the work into task forces. And if I go back here, I can show you the list we have of task forces. These 6 have been proposed in our early work that we could organize our way this way, but we put them in the order of, okay, what order do we actually need to do the work? And the first 2 task forces that you see highlighted here are the ones that we've already started. We started with risk assessment and harms prevention. That group is actually holding a weekly meeting on Mondays. No, on Tuesdays, excuse me, Tuesday mornings, my time. And then the other one is the credential task force. And that's where we're defining the requirements for personal credentials and verifiable relationship credentials. And it's those credentials and the structure and the protocols for exchanging them are the core of the work we're doing here, so that you can build the 2 documents I'm about to show you will go a long ways, hopefully, to explain what we're building with that or what we're aiming to. So anyway, we had a short report from Risk Assessment and Harms, which thank you, Sankarshan, for the contributions that he's making there. And glad you got that spreadsheet that you was able to get. And then the main discussion we had, Jin-Yong, was from the credentials task force. Over the holiday break, we produced 2 draft documents. They're not yet intended to become official specifications. They're parts. They're discussion documents. And the first one is a glossary, and the second one is a document that uses that glossary very extensively, that talks about how to bootstrap what we call a verifiable trust community. So, and I'll put links to both of those directly here, just to make it easy for you in the chat. The glossary is here. That is a Google Doc, and are you able to access? Do you have any issues accessing Google Docs?
I can access that.
Good. Okay. So there are links directly to these 2 documents. I will show them on screen here. The first one, the DTG glossary here, is I think for understanding our work, this will be a very helpful document. We haven't tackled translations yet. We'll get to that, because of course we need these to be understandable in multiple languages. But currently it's in English, but it has about 40 terms in it that explain the heart of what we're doing, and we just found that we really needed this. And I'll just show you the two terms that are, I think, particularly helpful. So DTG credentials, decentralized trust graph credentials. The work we did last fall has boiled it down to these 6 types of credentials. I can make this a little bit bigger. Let's see if I can go up to that size, it'll be better. Yeah, it's a little bit easier to read. So basically, this inheritance diagram, all the DTD credentials, fall into these 3 categories. The edge credentials are the credentials that define the edges in the graph, the trust relationships between any 2 nodes. And those nodes, there are 4 types of nodes. That's another, I need to remember a second, Sean. There's another diagram we need to do. So those nodes are people, devices, agents, and what we call verifiable trust communities. And I'll talk about that in a minute. That's any form of organization or group of those other primitives. And we call those verifiable trust communities. And so any connection, any edge between person to person or person to community or agent to community, that's a DTG edge, and it's defined by either a verifiable relationship credential or a verifiable membership credential. And the key difference being any parties anywhere in the graph can form relationships, but memberships have to conform to the requirements of a verifiable trust community, whatever that might be. It could be a company, it could be a professional association, it could be a university, it could be any group. They're the ones that have their membership requirements. But the standard thing, if you to prove you're a member of that group, is this credential here, the verifiable membership credential.
Yeah.
And then to annotate those edges on the graph, to describe, to make an assertion about that other party, we have the annotation credentials, and those fall into these 2. A persona is for an individual when they want to say, I'm the same person across whatever scope, different groups, different people. They can use a persona to do that. And that's how you can control where you are known and where you can be correlated. So we're making the idea of a persona, a first class, capability within a decentralized trust graph.
Yes.
The other one is what we call the endorsement credential. And that essentially is how you can start to build reputation systems in a decentralized trust graph. If I want to endorse you as a university professor or as a great golfer or, whatever I might do, and according to whatever vocabulary or assertions a particular trust community uses, there's a standard credential for that. That's what that one's for.
Yes.
The last 2 here are the credentials that we realized we needed to build verifiable trust communities by invitation, so that they could have strong bonds, strong trust bonds within them. We call those invitation credentials, and there's one designed for a trust community for its members, but there's also one designed for what we call verifiable trust network of trust communities. And a trust community can be invited into a trust network with one of those credentials. So those are the 6 types of credentials that will be the subject of this specification, which is the first, that and the glossary are the first 2 key deliverables of our working group. Is that all making sense?
Yes. But so it's I can understand what definition is, but I not make a figure of the relations of those credentials at this moment.
Okay. Well, yeah, because There is a separate over here. I'm going to go to a different window here. Oh, we've already got someone's. Oh, Sankarshan, you've already. Oh, excellent. Thank you for doing that. What I'm going to here is, and I'll put a link in here. We're using GitHub to have discussions about all these things, and those discussions are here at that link. And we've started. I just started today a discussion on the glossary document, which is here, and then a discussion on the second document. I'll show you the bootstrapping document here. So the actual like schema specifications that we've been discussing are here in other discussions. This one, for instance, is one of the more recent ones. And actually, if I go back to, go back. Oh, I didn't want to go to that one. I want to go here. Let's see. This one here. Yes. There's a link to this proposal, and this proposal has, where is this? Is that one? Why is that not? That's interesting. That's not going. Oh, I think there's a. Oh, there's a problem with that. There's a problem with that link. I'm seeing it's not. Is it 17 or 19? I'm going to fix that here in a second. Okay. This one is 19. Okay. So I'm going to fix this right now while I'm here at it. I think yeah, I can edit that. Somehow that link in there. What happened? Why is that coming up? Oh, anyway, okay. So let me click through here and see. Now we did get to the right place. So I will put this in here. The actual schema specification, or what we call the version 2 draft, is here. And actually, I take it back. It's a summary of these, and then the actual credential types are described here, which will go in and actually have the diagrams and then schemas. Okay?
Yes.
Yeah. So now, again, those were proposed in early December, and then we had a bunch of discussion. And so this is what we call the version 02 early draft. There's going to be a new one probably in the next week that will reflect all of the new information that we've been putting into the glossary in this other document. So that will take you there. So anyway, that is the glossary document. Let me quickly show you this other one that I think will also be very helpful, which based on that glossary, we created this document, which goes through the proposed, how do you actually start up a new verifiable trust community, right?
Yeah.
If you wanted to, for instance, create one at the university, or create one for a study group, or create one for your family, or to create one for your church, or whatever. How does that process work? And this is quite a bit, it's now a 16-page document that covers all that. It does explain right here at the outset that the thing that's driving this discussion of how do you start up a new, instance of the decentralized trust graph, it's not an abstract question. Our first customer that we're implementing for is the Linux kernel project at the Linux Foundation, right? The world's most valuable open source project. At the Linux Foundation Member Summit last March, Jim Zemlin, the executive director of Linux Foundation, said, we need first-person credentials to protect our own open source projects. There was a malware injection attack that happened the previous year that was one of the most dangerous things that was luckily caught by a Microsoft engineer. But otherwise, it could have been one of the worst, malware attacks on the internet. And it sent the fear of God into these open source projects in the Linux Foundation, saying, wow, if open source software starts to become untrusted because of malware attacks, it could decimate the industry. So he became a supporter of the work of LF Decentralized Trust and Trust ORP, and specifically the first person project, and said, we need this. And so that's what started our work and made us decide, okay, we're going to set up this working group to formalize the specs on the decentralized trust graph. And our first customer is the Linux Foundation. It's called the Linux Kernel Maintainer Verification Project. And this is not abstract at all. It is being coded as we speak. We intend to show this working at the next Linux Foundation Member Summit at the end of February. Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that gives you the context on this document, and it shows these four phases, which are summarized in this diagram here. Of it's a little small to see, but the initiation phase, who actually says, okay, let's create a new community, and then we call that the initiator. The initiator invites a set of trust anchors, community trust anchors. They then, in phase 3, start inviting other members. And if you're following a, quote, web of trust model, then members start inviting other members. And all of that, that's a particular way. Some of the comments this morning are, well, other established institutions won't work that way. If it's a corporation, they'll have a established HR process for doing that. And if it's a social network, they'll have a different way of doing it. But we just wanted to say, yeah, but they're all going to build it from the same building blocks. And we wanted to show how it can work and sort of test it all the way through, starting with what the Linux kernel needs. So that's what this document covers. You can see for each phase, we go down and we explain, all right, what are the assumptions? What are the steps? And then there's a sequence diagram that'll take you through that. So I hope that's helpful as a basic explanation of what we're doing. As I said, I have a conflict. I'm going to have to go to another meeting that came up before. I have another meeting with Singapore in a half an hour, and I have to prep for that. Is there any questions or other things we can answer for you right now about sort of the general picture of our work?
I have a simple questions.
Sure.
The as far as I understand it, there are lots of graphs in the internet domains. Is my understanding correct?
Um, if what you're saying is anyone could create a graph using these, yes.
Yes. And
That's why
then
we call it a decentralized trust graph. It's
yeah.
our model, really very much like TrustRP's model is the internet. We said
Mhm.
the goal of TrustRP is to say, let's create a trust layer for the internet,
Yes.
inherently decentralized, just like the internet.
Mhm.
One would argue with TrustRP and our work here, it's even more decentralized because the internet, as you know, does have DNS and the routing tables that do,
Yeah.
and it's sort of required with the trust over IP, because we're based on verifiable identifiers like DIDs, decentralized
Yes, right.
identifiers. We can be even more decentralized, right? We, the three of us, could create our own decentralized trust graph, and that's completely independent. Yeah, we'll still be communicating over internet protocols, assuming we
Mhm.
use that, but we can be as decentralized. So what will happen is, just like the internet connects existing networks, um, you can put together these verifiable trust communities into verifiable trust networks. Those are these two terms here that I'm going to point at the bottom. We found that these two terms, verifiable trust community and verifiable trust network, are essential to understanding how this can all be. Oh, what did that just happen? There we go. These two terms right here are the heart of understanding
Yeah.
how you can do that. And again, where we want to be, and I'll finish up by saying this is, we want to have our first specifications out this quarter, because again, they're already being implemented. And I'm now focused on something called the first person project. Are you familiar with that? Have you heard of the first person project?
Yes, I heard that, but I'm not
Yeah,
familiar with the exactly the.
got it. I just put in a link to the white paper we're maintaining that describes all of that if you're interested. But the first person project is focused on building one of these, a verifiable trust net for proof of personhood. Um,
Yeah.
and, and that's why there are a number of us from the first person project that are going to be very active here.
Oh,
So anyway, I'm very glad you could join us for today's call. Um, let us know. Are you a member of Trust RP or of the Decentralized Identity Foundation (DIF)? Uh,
so I'm a member of the DIF.
that's fine because we are a joint working group. So anyone from DIF or Trust RP, very glad to have you here. We have a number of DIF members participating. And again, we will be holding these calls weekly. And I plan to, unless I'm traveling, I will plan to be on all of them. Sankarshan, you're amazing because you too in India are managed to be on both the Americas and the APAC call. So we welcome you here and let us know how we can help you with anything that your work or any questions you have. And please feel free to join the discussions here.
Yeah.
With at oh, I guess here actually. um, yeah. Again, that's all these discussions are open, and we try and advance the work, uh, uh, you know, asynchronously here in GitHub, so that everyone all around the world can participate.
Yeah. Thank you for your explanations of the DTG work group. So I this is my first time the participations, and I don't I didn't started the activities of the this work group. So based on your explanations, I will the investigate some basic document, and then I try to the participate actively in this work group. Okay.
That would be fantastic. We are very interested in that. I will say one last thing, which is we have several universities participating. One of the most active is actually it's called the Applied Social Media Team at Harvard.
Okay.
You may be familiar with those. And we think that universities are one of the first early verifiable trust communities that would be
Yes,
interested
yes.
in implementing and using it with students and staff and alumni and everything. So that's a second good reason to welcome you here. Thanks very much for coming, and I look forward to talking to you next week. Again, I don't normally have a reason I have to leave early, but today I do. So I'll have to wrap up now.
Yeah.
But great, thanks for coming, and it's
Yes.
good to meet you. And I look forward to having you on future calls. And as
Yes.
always,
Nice to meet you. Bye
and
bye.
thanks,
Thank you.
Sankarshan, as well. You bet.
Bye.
Talk soon. Bye bye.